Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. As you look at temperatures over the next 10 days, we'll continue to hold on to a mostly warmer than average pattern across the Canadian Prairie, though we will see some temperature fluctuations that we'll talk about here. The pattern also going to continue to keep heavy precipitation blasting the coastal areas of British Columbia and high elevation areas, largely missing the Canadian Prairie, though we do have another storm system that will bring blizzard-like conditions to parts of the northern plains and the Great Lakes of the U.S., perhaps clipping parts of southeastern Manitoba with some snow. But again, a very quiet next 4 to 5 days expected across the prairie. It's not until we get to mid next week, potentially into the end of next week, that we could turn a little bit more active across the prairie in terms of some more disruptive precipitation, more organized storm systems. Right now, we continue to be missed in the prairie. We've got an organizing storm system across the southwestern U.S. This is the one that will bring blizzard conditions to a big chunk of the northern plains and the upper Midwest. Again, perhaps a glancing blow of some snow in parts of southeastern Manitoba as we head into the end of the weekend, but largely being missed here on the prairie. The radar is quiet right now. We've got some ground clutter showing up here. None of this is actually precipitation making its way to the ground. We are quiet across the prairie. As we take a look at the high-resolution forecast, the precipitation forecast here will continue to be quiet across the prairie. Perhaps some very light snow possible across northern Manitoba as we head through the late part of the day today into the overnight. And then as we head into the later part of the weekend, getting into Sunday, perhaps some light snow starting to fall across parts of western and northern Manitoba. Here's the big storm system making its way through the northern plains of the U.S., perhaps bringing some light snow and some accumulating snow to parts of southeastern Manitoba as we get into late in the day Sunday night and early Monday. We can see that here. We take a long-range look at the European forecast model precipitation type, keeping things mostly quiet across the prairie here. We're heading to Saturday morning, midday Saturday, getting into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Here's the big storm system. This is the one that's bringing heavy snow to the northern plains and the upper Midwest, potentially bringing some snow to parts of southeastern Manitoba as we head into Sunday night and early Monday morning. Additionally, perhaps a very light wintry mix, maybe some very just light, talking, sprinkles, maybe a couple snowflakes, maybe light freezing rain across parts of western and southern Alberta as we head through the day on Sunday. But this would be very light, not talking about anything in the way of significant accumulation from that Sunday storm system. We're now heading into Monday, getting into Tuesday. And now midday Tuesday, this is when we start to see the first advertisement of maybe organized areas of low pressure as we head into Wednesday, getting into Thursday, potentially bringing some light precipitation, some light snow to the prairie. We'll then have to watch what's being advertised as a much bigger storm system that may make its way ashore here as we get into the late part of the week. I teased that maybe mid to late next week, getting into the weekend, perhaps turning a little bit more active in terms of precipitation. But up to that point, up through Wednesday, pretty quiet across the prairie. Total snow accumulation through Tuesday night, so this is getting us through the weekend, including Monday and Tuesday. Seeing some of that light snow possible across areas north of the prairie. We're talking about anywhere from a trace to 5 centimeters of snow across areas north of Highway 16. But as you look at the primary prairie region here over the next 5 days, maybe just talking about a trace, probably most areas remaining completely dry here over the next 4 to 5 days. Again, we can take the drawings off and you can see the big storm system that makes its way across the northern plains of the U.S. Again, some of these models bringing several centimeters of snow into parts of southeastern Manitoba. Winnipeg, you're going to be right on the line there. We're talking about maybe 2 to 5 centimeters of snow on the high side with this. The GFS model, the least gung-ho for you, keeping that snow south of Manitoba for the most part. The Canadian ensemble, a little bit more gung-ho, bringing that 4 to 5 centimeter line closer to the Winnipeg area. So if anyone's going to see some snow here, it's southern and southeastern Manitoba as we head into the late part of the weekend, Sunday and Monday. Otherwise, we're likely waiting until we get into the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday timeframe next week before we get any real significant precipitation back into the Canadian Prairie. The reason for that, we'll take a quick look at the upper-level jet stream pattern. We continue to see ridging anywhere from the Canadian Prairie into the northern U.S., and that's continuing to force the storm track a bit further south right now. We see that big trough making its way through. That's our big blizzard in the northern plains. Might bring some snow to southeastern Manitoba Sunday and Monday. We see another trough now being forced off to the south as we get into the early part of next week. Now it's this trough that might start rotating in here Wednesday, getting into Thursday and Friday. And as this starts to sink into the region, you can take a look at the jet stream pattern here. You see first the trough, most notably, but you see upper level divergence on the east side. That's the direction that I'm looking for, What I mean by upper level divergence is those upper level winds spreading out, fanning out, and that leads to rising motion, the development of clouds, precipitation, and our area of low pressure. So pretty quiet across the prairie here with the exception of southeastern Manitoba Sunday and Monday, but we have something to talk about here as we get to the end of next week, potentially a more significant storm system making its way through the prairie. Temperatures, as I just play this out, looking at our temperature anomaly, so where you see the red, even getting into that gray and white shading, that continues to be temperatures that are above normal across the prairie, though we do have some fluctuations to talk about here in the early part of the forecast period. We'll look first at Edmonton now, looking at parts of central Alberta. Those temperatures a bit cooler as we head through the weekend, but then starting to warm up as we get into early next week. Similar picture here in Calgary. High temperatures below freezing or below zero Friday and Saturday, getting above zero as we head into the end of the weekend and early next week. So we talk about Saskatoon, similarly warming up as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. A bit cooler here for the weekend. Cooler temperatures in Regina as we head through the weekend, warming back up as we get into Monday, Tuesday. So here's the theme, a bit cooler for the weekend here, but then warming up as we head into the early part of next week. And then as we look all the way over toward Winnipeg, Monday and Tuesday, this is when we could maybe be seeing some of that snow falling across the region, but we do see the temperatures warm back up as we head into mid to late next week. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution to the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday morning ag forecast video. That's also when I'll be back to talk about the Canadian Prairie next. We will have a holiday schedule once again as we talk about the new year here Tuesday and Wednesday. So we will have Canadian forecasts here Monday and then not again until Friday of next week. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.